For decades, high school students applying for colleges have studied, prepared, and registered for standardized tests like the SAT or ACT. But as those tests face more scrutiny, a major Indiana school is making those test scores optional. The IU system announced this week students can decide whether to include their test scores on their applications. Ball State did the same last fall. Tonight's RTV6's Cornelius Hawker shows you why colleges are going this route and why it's likely the tests will not be going away.
Libraries are full of knowledge, so it's fitting Steve Moxie holds SAT and ACT test prep here.
So if you remember here, anytime you see capacity...
Steve's been doing this work since 2011. He's worked with lots of students with their future in mind.
I do think that if the instruction you're doing is solid for how to read and think more clearly, that a prep course, if done well, can lead to skills that can lead to further academic success.
Almost every school in the IU college system, besides IU East and Southeast, has decided to go to a test optional admissions policy beginning in the fall of 2021. All the colleges agreeing that some students believe their scores may not represent their academic potential. Since the early 2000s, colleges across the country have wrestled with whether or not to require ACT or SAT scores as part of a prospective student's application because studies have shown the methodology behind the test is flawed, negatively impacting certain groups of people.
Well, everything I've read on that, when you look at academic performance, girls outperform boys in math, for instance, but when it comes to standardized tests, for whatever reason, and they can't figure it out, that trend gets reversed.
Despite the flaws in standardized tests, Steve thinks they'll always serve a purpose. If not in admissions, they could be used to determine merit-based scholarships.
These are a way to sort of understand where students' skills are. So I think there is some value to that, and not just because my livelihood comes from these tests.
And taking the ACT and SAT can also be a financial burden on students and their parents. Each test costs about $50 to take. Other schools that have made test scores optionals have seen increases in first-generation, low-income, rural, and veteran students.